Hi everyone, Ainsley here from Small Fry Creations. We tackle everything DIY and today we're going to solve some problems. See, I built this bench a couple of years ago, link above if you want to see how I built it, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with it, but I think we can build something better and solve some problems at the same time. See, if you have a partner like mine, then you've got at least one Amazon package arriving a day, if not more like 3. We also get our groceries delivered, so we want to have somewhere we can store them away from the porch pirates and keep them cool at the same time. So today we're going to take away the old bench and build something new with storage so we can solve those problems. Let's head into the workshop and get started. The first thing I need to do is cut down this marine plywood to size to make the inside of the box. Alright, let's get stuck in. The box is sized for our front porch but can also fit 2 of the large Costco cooler bags, and we'll put those out on the days that our groceries get delivered. I ripped everything to width on the table saw and then I used the cross-cut sled to cut everything to the right length.
I'm counting down the minutes till it's Tuesday. Another day back on my feet. I'm fighting every minute till the weekend, so I can live it up and do it all again and again. Friday we go dive, Saturday we ride, Sunday party, and let's call it a perfect weekend.
With my pieces cut, let's put the box together using some 38mm outdoor screws, and I'm going to start by pre-drilling as it's good practice, but it will also help when I'm driving the screws. I use a countersink drill bit so that when I'm pre-drilling, I can countersink at the same time, making life much easier. I secured 2 sides of the box together first, and then I used the base of the box to help keep everything square. Having a second pair of hands, aka the engineer here, is really helpful as she can hold pressure where needed so that I could secure everything in place.
I'm holding on for one more day. I'm fighting every minute till the weekend, so I can live it up and do it all again and again. Friday we go dive, Saturday we ride, Sunday party, and let's call it a perfect weekend. Friday we go dive, Saturday we ride, Sunday party, and let's call it a perfect weekend.
Oh, bang on square.
Friday we go dive, Saturday we ride, Sunday party, and let's
Alright, I've got the box together, and this is a perfect beginner's woodworking project, or if you're looking for something quick to build on the weekend. The box is together, but it does need a lid. I'm going to pause on cutting the lid for the time being and start to make this thing look pretty. We are eventually going to paint the same color as the render on the house so that it sort of fades away up against the house. And then I've got this decking, which is Blackbutt. I'm going to cut it into 20mm strips and then use that to clad the box. So I need to head back to the table saw, cut a bunch of 20mm strips. Then we're going to finish all of the strips as well as painting the box, and then we can bring this thing together. Cutting 20mm strips is fairly straightforward, and I use a mag switch featherboard to hold pressure against the decking board up against the fence. I would cut 1 strip off every board and then move the featherboard in and cut the next strip and so on.
Was never alone, but always felt so lonely. Was surrounded by, but I was so lonely. But when I met you, my heart turned from stone to gold. And when I'm with you, this feeling I can't control. I never wanna lose this feeling. I'd do anything tonight to lose you. Can't do anything, can't do anything. Baby, I'd do anything for you.
The decking boards come with a roundover, and I didn't want to waste the material by cutting it off, so I found a router bit that matched that curve and I rounded over all of the strips.
Yeah, do anything, I'll do anything. Yeah, do anything for you. Yeah, do anything.
miter saw and a stop block to cut everything to its final length, and we could prep for finish.
Was never alone, but always felt so lonely. Was always surrounded, but I was the only. When I met you, my heart turned from soul to gold. And when I'm with you, this feeling I can't control. Yeah, I never wanna lose this feeling.
All the pieces have been rounded over and they have already been sanded. I've water popped them so that I can raise the grain, and now I'm doing the final sanding. You can see in the background the box has also been undercoated, so that is now ready for its final color as well. But one thing I wanted to point out is as I'm doing the final sanding, I came across an issue which I'll show you a close-up of now, where the sides meet the front. I wasn't happy with that connection. It just didn't look smooth as it was going around. So what I've done is I've taken some 80 grit sandpaper and I've matched the curve of the side pieces just to make them marry a little bit nicer as it goes around the corner. Then I'm coming back with 240 grit and sanding everything really silky smooth, and then I'm going to apply finish. So I'm going to go ahead, get these finished up, and then we can apply finish. The box is painted the same color as the render on the house, which is Dulux Color Bond Basalt. Love it when there's two of you to make the job go even quicker. For the finish on the decking boards, I'm using this Aussie clear coat. I picked it up a while ago when I was doing the balcony bar video, and in that testing, I found this to be the best finish. It is oil-based, which I don't love, but if the timber is going to be outside, oil-based is the way to go. The recoat on this down the line is not too hard. It just requires a light sand and then you can re-oil. But the reason why I love it is because it's purpose designed for lighter colored timbers. Gives it more of a golden tone than a yellow tone, which I prefer. It doesn't cost an arm and a leg, and you can pick it up at your local Mitre 10 store. I do have a couple of recommendations for you when you're applying the oil-based finish. I apply it with something that I plan on throwing away, as it is a pain to clean up, and I also plan to do it as the last job of the day, as it takes a full 24 hours to dry and is extremely smelly. You are not going to want to be in the space once it's applied. The next morning, I use a microfiber towel to buff the finish and a 600 grit sandpaper to lightly sand and make everything super smooth. It's the next day, all of our pieces are dry, we are ready to bring this thing together. And one of the things I had to think through is how we're going to secure everything to the box. And originally I was going to tape off where the pieces were going to be so that I could glue it and we'd have good glue adhesion, but that just seemed really annoying. So I reached out to my good friend Vic over at Down Under Woodworks and asked his advice as to what he would do in this situation. And he made a really good point. They are decorative strips, they're not going to hold any weight, so screws will be totally fine. So I'm going to screw it from the backside out so that you won't actually see anything from the outside. So I'm going to secure the first one all the way around, and then I've created these templates for where I need to screw, and I can screw from the outside through to make a marking. Then I can get my piece into place and secure it from the backside. So I'm going to start with the sides first because they're the exact length front to back, get them all into place, and then go ahead and secure the front. Then we're really up to the point where we can put the lid on, all the little pieces of hardware, and then we can round up this project. But firstly, let's start to make this thing look good. This part of the project is a case of slow and steady wins the race. The piece is not going to look great if everything doesn't line up, and having a drilling guide is a game changer as it keeps everything in line, and it's one less thing that you have to think about when you're trying to get everything lined up. I also had a spacer that I could use between all of the pieces to keep everything consistent, and I clamped the first couple of rows in place, but then I had the engineer help me push and hold pressure where needed so that I could secure the screws.
Everybody wants to surrender, but darling, you were meant to survive. With every star, we are born again. Open your heart, spend less time in your head. With every star, we are born again.
the last row, I couldn't get the screws in, so I glued it in place. I used sandpaper to rough up the paint surface so that the glue would adhere, and I used super glue as the clamp. When putting glue on the decking, I left space for the super glue, and then I sprayed activator on the box and held the piece in place. The super glue sets in a couple of seconds, and this will hold the piece in place while the wood glue dries, which is the real strength.
With every star, we are born again. Open your heart and spend less time in your head.
With the box mostly together, I could put that aside and start to work on the lid, and that starts with cutting plugs. For the top, I didn't want to see a bunch of screws when you lifted up the lid, so that's why I've gone with plugs. I also love the way that they look on the top. I used a drill press to cut some of the plugs and an awl to remove them. The top is made up of wider decking boards, as I thought this would be more comfortable to sit on and add some dimension to the piece. The back piece is flush with the back, and the front overhangs 20mm, which will make it flush with the front of the other decking pieces, as well as create a handle to lift the lid.
When I saw you looking at me with a smile like you wanted me, saying, boy, come on, will our break be gone? I just had to try. You just move, baby, move any way you need. How do you do it, darling? Got me on my knees, on my feet. You can take me to the left, baby, take me to the right. You can take me for the rest of my life. Just move, baby, the way you move is moving me.
The last job before flipping the box up the right way was to add some rubber feet, and this will lift the box just off the ground to create some airflow, and it will stop the box from sliding when being opened.
Your hips, feet, heartbeats on the floor, and just in your hair, girl, it ain't fair. Whatever you do, just don't stop.
All right, this is starting to look really good. I love that when you design something on a computer and you make it in real life, when it looks exactly like the model on the computer, I absolutely love it. I have gotten too eager. The plugs are still drying on top here, but I just wanted to sit the top on to see what it looks like, and I absolutely love it. Now, as an option, if you don't want to secure your timber from the inside out like I have done, you can do what we've done on the top here, and we've used plugs. You can buy plug cutters online. They're really inexpensive, and they're a great way to cover up your screw heads. You can cut the plugs from the exact same material that you're already using, and then you can do your best to grain match them, and they sort of fade away. To put them in, all you need to do is use a Forstner bit. You drill down about 8 to 10mm, then put your screw in, and then you can glue in your plugs over the top. Once they're dry, I'm going to flush cut them. I will then do a light sand and put a second coat of oil on top. But I now need to secure the lid. That can sit there and dry while I do that. To secure the lid, I'm going to use a piano hinge. I am not going to use the screws that come with the piano hinge because I think they are garbage and they are not going to hold the weight that I want. I use a screw called a stitching screw. If you want to know more about them and why I use them, I will link a video above where I did the outdoor projector and I used a ton of stitching screws, and I explain in that video why I use them. So I'm going to go ahead, get the piano hinge installed, make sure this is all operational and working. Then I can come back and flush cut these plugs, sand everything, and then it's really just its little last final coat and touch-ups, and then we can put it in its new home. A piano hinge is my go-to hinge as it's super easy to install, takes a lot of weight, and it's thin so it works well with plywood. I always install a couple of screws to hold the hinge in place, and then I check that everything's working correctly before going ham with pre-drilling and screwing the hinge in place. When pre-drilling, I use a self-centering drill bit as this makes the process quick and simple. When flush trimming the plugs, I use a piece of card to go under the saw, and this will stop the surface from being marked.
Like two clouds in the sky, we colliding slowly, chest to chest. You are mine, only forever. Don't you try to hide it, we're so alike, babe. You're a blessing found in paradise. Wanna scream out loud, girl, the nature's watching. You're a blessing found in paradise.
complete and in its new home. I absolutely love it. And when we were designing it, we made sure that it would fit up to 2 of these Costco cooler bags. They're a really great size to fit all of our cool items when our groceries get delivered. We've only got 1 in at the moment because we think that will be enough, and the other half can be for all of the regular packages that arrive. The other thing we've installed is this hardware to stop the door from opening up against the house. So currently it's sitting at an open angle of around about 70 degrees. However, the hardware that we installed we got from Bunnings, it's by a brand called Taskmaster. I would not recommend them. The instructions were absolutely garbage. It took us forever to try and get them installed and getting them working correctly. So I would not recommend them. If you're going to do something similar, do some research online, pick up something from online that is going to work much better than these ones. But it all works. The lid closes really nicely. Now we've also got a bench so that we can sit out here and see what's going on in the great outdoors. And I hope you have liked this video. If you have, you can help me out by hitting those subscribe and like buttons, or check out the video that's about to pop up on your screen, and I'll see you on the next one.